Hey guys, today I wanted to try with you the new Makeup by Mario Surreal Liquid Foundation. Presently enough, there's like no information on this packaging, so we're gonna go to the Sephora website to kind of give you some information on that. But this is going to be a first time try on. I'm gonna try to do at least 8 hours of wear today. So yeah, let's see. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Sam. I'm a makeup enthusiast. I do a lot of makeup reviews here on this channel. And yeah, so I just picked up the foundation in the shade 15N. I feel like it will look good on me, but I will say like I compared it to like my NARS Longwear Radiant foundation and like this one that I like. And these are very warm and this looks a lot cooler in comparison. So I am a little bit nervous. I usually base my foundation shades, like when I'm researching it, I'm obviously looking at the swatches and everything like that on the websites, but I also like watch Glam Girl Chelsea because she tends to be like a shade darker than me. Like her winter shade tends to be my summer shade. And then her winter shade, I usually kind of use that as a marker of like where to stop looking and start working my way from her shade down to see where I might match best. She was wearing 17N in her little reel that I saw or YouTube short. So I figured let's try 15N. That might be a decent shade match for me. So from what Sephora's website says, it's a natural finish, hydrating, medium coverage liquid foundation that's long wearing. They describe it as luminous, effortless, builds to illuminate complexion, and customized long wear coverage. I believe he said that the shades are pretty flexible, so you might find that you'd be able to wear more than one shade, which I find kind of interesting. I do want to say, like, I did take some photos, and I'm going to insert them here of the foundation. It does seem to have some kind of illuminating quality in it as far as like shimmer or some kind of glitter or something in the foundation. And I did compare it to other foundations that I feel like are kind of similar in that sense that I haven't, even though I haven't used this. So, and I don't know if the camera will catch it, but there's definitely like silver sparkles in there. And it kind of remind me of these L'Oreal True Match skin tint serums. You can kind of see there's like a silver pearl in these. And I will say that that's a reason why, like, even though I really do like these, I'm not going to reach for this over a traditional foundation because I have a very warm complexion and these like illuminating qualities that tend to lean more silver, I feel like it does create some kind of weird cast depending on how the light hits your face. And that's the same thing with like the e.l.f. Halo glow, the same thing with the Charlotte Tilbury. Like they just have this weird silver. There's a foundation that I find superior to these because it has a gold um illuminating quality to it, and it is the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation. I have mine in Tan Neutral 42. And if you look at this, it has the same situation going on, but it's gold. So if I don't like this Makeup by Mario one, or if you find that you don't like it or you're hesitant because of the silver flecks in here, then I would recommend hitting up Ulta and trying the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better. This came out in 2021, and this is an amazing formula. I don't think that it has the hype that it deserves, but we're going to try this one today. I'm just going to apply it now. I'll show you what my makeup looks like when I'm done, and then I'll come back later to do kind of like a check-in situation with you guys. I don't do a lot of foundation reviews. This past year, I've been trying very hard to not buy too many foundations. That's the one thing that I prefer, liquid or cream, and those tend to expire. So for that reason, I don't do a million foundation reviews. I usually review eyeshadow palettes. But we're going to get started in applying this. I am going to use a primer on half my face and then no primer on the other half. Let me grab that. All right, so I'm going to use my Nor Problem primer on one half of my face. That's the primer that I typically use. It's my go-to. So we're going to use that on, let's do this side. And then I'm going to use a brush for the whole thing because That's just my preferred method. I like to get coverage out of my products, just a little bit more than like a sheer wash of coverage because I have hyperpigmentation. You can tell the center of my face is a lot lighter than the outer part of my face. So I do want to make sure like the coverage is even. And sometimes with a sponge, it's a little sheer and you don't get that even coverage. So we got primer on this side, no primer on this side. And let's try this out. So that's one pump. We'll start there and then we'll go. It's a little thick. It's not really moving around. The shade looks good on my hand. Sometimes neutrals work well. Sometimes they make me look a little gray. I love the YSL All Hours foundation. And I have the shade for the summer TN1, and I tried to buy MN9 for a winter shade, and it looked very, very gray on my skin. So I have to exchange that for the right shade because I do really like that foundation and I want it in my collection. So far, it looks great. Looks great. I'm probably going to use another pump. I can tell the side that I don't have primer on, like when the brush is gliding over, I can feel it hugging the skin a little bit more than on the other side. And I can already see the luminosity on the skin. But you're going to see here on my forehead because my forehead is more pigmented than the rest of my face. It's a lot warmer. You can kind of see where that sometimes that like silver quality to the pearls can just look a little ashy if you have a warmer skin tone. I can't speak to the other shades if like the darker shades have a different color pearl in it, but I do want to make note of that because I just feel like, especially like even with the e.l.f. Halo Glow, like nobody talked about that. Nobody talks about how the pearl color can also affect the look of the thing. It's the same thing with the Huda Beauty glowish skin tint situation. Like that is a very metallic foundation or skin tint or whatever it is. And I think because it has a silver pearl in it or like a white pearl, it just looks very unnatural on tan skin. So we're going to just do one more pump because again, like I have hyperpigmentation and stuff. I want to cover that. I have this little ditty right here in between my eyes. That's fun. It's probably too much, but I'm just gonna, we'll leave the rest of that. I feel like it is just a tad light, but it's still doable. And with bronzer and stuff like that, it should be fine. Okay, so I am going to go with a sponge just to kind of press it into the skin a little bit more. And it kind of picks up any like true excess that I have on. Now, I do consider myself to be like a true neutral, sometimes more like a golden olive skin tone. And I feel like you almost could see like the pigment is right, but because those pearls, it's giving this kind of sheen that's giving a gray cast. And this is the problem with these kind of foundations that I don't necessarily love. You can definitely see it on my forehead with bronzer and stuff. Let's see like if we can kind of finagle it, but I'm not sure that this is going to be like the ideal foundation for somebody who's of a warmer complexion, honestly. Like I think sometimes um yeah, it's the hype. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like if you're looking for something with radiance from Sephora, maybe the NARS one that I hate so much, because at least the glow from that isn't like a silver or white pearl. But let's do the rest of our makeup and then I will come back, show you what it looks like. All right, so this is my final look. I used the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade Tan. I used my Pat McGrath blush in Cosmic Coral, and I did not put on a highlight. I'm not going to. For the eyes, if you're curious, I was using my Unearthly Cosmetics Warms My Blood palette. And if you're curious about my lips, I'm wearing the L'Oreal Paradise Glow Liquid Lip Balm in 110. And yeah, so this is the final look. I will say I also used a little bit of my brown up powder under my eyes to set my concealer. And then I did dust a little of it here in my forehead, just here where my smile lines are, and a little on the chin, because I wanted to kind of actually take down a little bit of the shine. It is very luminous. And the shade I think is okay. If you're my complexion, this might work for you. But no, I don't love this shade on me. It's not horrible. It's not perfect. I'm wearing a turtleneck, so it doesn't really matter today. But like in general, I don't think this is the perfect shade. Although in January and February, it might be a little bit lighter on me. So let's just see. It is now 12:55. So I'm gonna go about my day and then I will come in and check in with you guys later and give you my final thoughts. So far, I'm not like mad at it, but I don't exactly love it either. This is the problem too with trying so many foundations. Like, there's so many really good ones. If you find one that works for you, you don't really need to like get the new all the time. I know it's tempting. And even I fell for it this time too. So we will see. We will see if I end up loving it. Sometimes with foundations, the longer it sits on the skin, the better it looks. As far as like application, primer, no primer, I actually think the side with no primer looks a little bit better than this side. It kind of like is sitting weird on the primer, but it might be a situation where it's like, I didn't check if it's like a water-based foundation versus a silicone-based foundation versus whatever. So it might be a situation like that. Yeah, this is a water-based foundation. So maybe it would have been better if I used like a water-based primer, but sometimes water-based primers can be like even more glowy as the day goes on. They're not like ideal for somebody with combination oily skin, but we will see. And yeah, I'll check in with you guys later. Okay, so this is a kind of like midway check-in. It is, I'm going to cover almost 5 o'clock. I went to the grocery store. We returned books to the library. We returned something for Amazon. We did something else. It's raining outside. I did not blot. Even when I had the rain touch my face, I did not wipe it away, blot it, nothing like that. I just left it as is. I do not use an umbrella and I do not use a hood because the only thing that melts in the rain is sugar and shit, and I am neither. So this is what it looks like right now. I do feel like I look a little, I'm going to turn down the light a little. All right. So this is what we're looking like. It's a little glowy. To be honest, it kind of looked glowy before. Even I do feel like it's sitting on the skin really nice. Like the longer I've worn it, the better it's sitting on the skin. I actually got a couple compliments when I was out of the house. I think it looks nice. I'm not obsessed with the color match, and I'm not obsessed with how luminous. I do feel like there's like glitter in it, and I did talk about that in the beginning of the video that I felt like it was just a little too shiny in the bottle, but like I feel like I see glitter. At first I noticed it here and I was like, well, maybe it's my eyeshadow. But the more I look at my face, I feel like there's legit glitter. And the only thing on my forehead is the bronzer. So I'm pretty sure like the shimmer in this foundation it's not like shimmer. It's like straight up glitter, as opposed to like the L'Oreal and the It Cosmetics foundations. But I mean, if you have dry skin, it probably looks good. I have oily skin in my T-zone anyway. I actually think my makeup still looks pretty decent. I might touch up my eyeshadow a little bit because I am going out for New Year's, but I'm going to leave the rest of my face as is. Again, I did not powder. I did not blot. And I'm going to try not to do that as well before I go out. And I'll check in with you guys one final time before I actually go out for the night. And this is probably going to be longer than an 8-hour wear, but I probably am not going to check in with you at the end of the night because it's going to be New Year's and I'm going to be tired and I'm going to come home and crash, just wash my face and go to bed. So yeah, if I have time, I'll insert a clip of the late hours, but I'm just going to do the 8-hour mark and let you know from there. And then possibly end up putting a pinned comment down below with like anything changed during beyond the 8 hours. So yeah. This is what we're looking at. 8 o'clock. I don't know where I put my phone, but my husband had an alarm for when we need to get ready to get out of the house, and it's 8 o'clock. He just told me, it's 8, you need to get ready. So I've had this makeup on since about 12:30. I think I finished my makeup at like 12:50 something. So it's been an extended period of time that I've had this on. And as you can see, I'm very oily on my chin and right around here. And here in the center. I feel like that whole time it was very shiny in those areas, but now it does feel greasy. I thought maybe I can push this makeup on. Sorry. Based on my last check-in, I thought maybe I could push this through the evening, but I'm starting to feel like I really need to just start from scratch, remove this foundation and just go on. I will say in the areas of my face that are normal, it's lasted really well. Like you can see my blush, you can see my bronzer, you can still see the foundation here. It hasn't moved, it hasn't rubbed off anywhere. I had tacos for dinner. Like it doesn't look crazy around my mouth. It's definitely long wearing. I definitely think like the finish actually looks nicer the longer it sits on the skin. This side and this side, the primed and not primed side, I don't really see a difference. So there's that. I do want to blot. Maybe I can powder and make it last, but I also don't want to look crazy. So I have a tissue because that's what I would normally use. I would just pull a tissue out of my bag. And that's just from the chin. And I'm being kind of aggressive blotting because I'm probably going to just take this off anyway. Now, that's what it looks like. And then all right, so this is what we got off of it. Overall, it still feels very set, and I don't feel like it's moving around. It does look a lot better here. You can see even in my nose, everything looks good. So I think, personally speaking, I don't love the pearl in here, and I feel like this shade is a little too cool tone from my complexion. The 16C, I think, was like the next one up, and it looked way too dark. 17N is what Glam Girl Chelsea was using, and it matched her perfectly, which usually tells me that it's going to be too dark for me too. So I don't really know that there's a shade for me right now. And yeah, so I don't know that this is like something I'm going to reach for. I want in my life. I might wear this like a couple more times, like, and just decide like if I want to return it. I don't do that much, but I also don't really buy a lot of foundations. So I don't know. Personally, it's not my favorite. If you have dry skin, I think, and you like a luminous finish, you're going to love this. It is very long wearing. It has good, I feel like the quality of it is really good. I just don't think for my taste that this is for me. I do like luminous foundations. I just don't like it's the color situation for me. I have so many foundations that work really well for me that I just don't feel like it's necessary to keep a foundation that's just not quite there. Because I'm not going to reach for it. It'll end up being wasteful. At least if I bring it back to Sephora, maybe they can use it as a tester or something. Yeah, it's a good foundation. It's just not for me. And that's fair to say. I think that's the fairest thing I could say. All right. So I thought my last check-in was my final check-in, and I probably kind of look like hot garbage, but it is now 12/24. It is now the new year. And I've had this foundation on for 12 hours pretty much. And my blush is still intact. My bronzer is still intact. Everything is still intact. I have blotted several times in the last couple hours because, I was in front of people that I care about their opinions. But it looks great. I'm like, I cannot even believe it. Even where I get oily in here, I feel like it's not crazy. Um, it's not breaking up. It's not. So if you like this foundation, I definitely would recommend it. I don't love the color situation. I did end up like putting Huda Beauty's powder in Blondie to kind of add a little bit of warmth to the face, and it did kind of do that for me after the last check-in. But yeah, I'm feeling like it looks pretty decent for 12 hours. It looks great for 12 hours, honestly. Like if I was working back in the office and doing 8-hour shift and then I was going out to dinner after work, I wouldn't be worried about like looking crazy and having breakup and all of that. So this is a good foundation. And that's it. I'm tired. I'm gonna literally go jump in the shower and wash my face and go to bed. And Happy New Year's, everybody. Bye.